Hello, everyone. Sorry, I'm tweeting that I am on. Hello, everyone. How are we doing? Hopefully, we are doing well. Let me go ahead and tweak the question of the day. Actually, we'll ask a whole new question. Hmm. Okay. What is your favorite sugary drink? I just had some 7-Up. Not my favorite, but it's high. It's up there. How is everyone doing? So, I think I'm doing this solo for right now, which is okay. We'll go ahead and get... Dang it. We'll go... Sorry. That's way better. Okay. Just gotta... Dang it. Sorry. So maybe if we do it like this. Close enough. Close enough. All right. Good golly. All right. I feel like we've had kind of a disaster of a start, but here we are. We're doing it. We're proceeding. We'll make this happen. All right. So, just cut my hair actually. Looks like I did an all right job. Part of the reason I'm running late. But all right. Mondays. So that game is still in limbo. We are moving to something else. Maybe even doing some minis painting. I don't know if there's a good way. I've been doing a lot of minis painting recently. And this charming orc has been one of the prides of my collection. It's kind of hard to see, especially when I'm back here. But anyways, I need to show you the wyvern I'm working on because it's really, see, aliens. The wyvern I'm working on because it's really cool. I will post pictures if you are on my Discord. That's a really cool place to see pictures of my miniatures. I also put them on Instagram. I might put those, put a link to those somewhere. All right. So, Monday game, we're still planning on having the last boss be a crate dragon of some sort. And that's pretty much it. We're just going to finish out the game. We're going to make sure that it ends decently. that we put a little capstone on this work/school game that we've been doing for students and staff. Strawberry lemonade with strawberry pulp. That sounds lovely, actually. I really like that. And I was thinking about this recently, but I need a way better way to organize all of my 40 keynotes, because I have all kinds of things like NPCs, locations, ideas. I need something that's going to be like tabbed. I almost wonder if I need to make this a spreadsheet. It'd be really cool if it was a spreadsheet. Not gonna lie. But I think there's a better way to do this. I think there's a better program to sort this. I want to say Obsidian Portal, but I haven't used it in a million years and I feel kind of weird doing it. I don't know. World Anvil and Obsidian Portal. You said the thing, yeah. I'll consider them though. Like I said, I think I've got 10 years since I've used Obsidian Portal. That campaign is still up there. It was not a campaign I ran. It's like your own wiki. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to. I don't know if I start typing into Obsidian Portal, if streaming my Obsidian Portal stuff is like against their terms of service. I don't, and they may not be, but I wonder. But I'll have to look at the fine print and try and figure it out. I've used World Anvil before, and then there's also one called oh shoot. There's like some .io site that I was using for a while that actually was pretty cool, but there was something lacking to that one. Anyway, so why don't we just write needs better organization. I might even use Microsoft Notebook. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't decided again. I'm kind of like in limbo on this. Needs better organization. So we need to highlight the Cynthia drug effects. I didn't have a chance to. 5-hour Ogren energy. Let's see. Firefight. Let's see. Okay, all of this is still in place. We still need to figure out if the group is going to go to the warehouse or to the soiree auction. Both are viable options. Let's see, possibility that the item in question... Oh, I have an idea. So we've been talking about doing this like auction or warehouse where the group they fight to get Galvanus and this artifact that Phenodius is trying to sell. I want to set it up. Idea. Have the group decide between artifact and Galvanus. Genius. So that's going to set us up for a lot of things. They can let Galvanus free. They're going to have less incentive to do that. They can let the artifact go. If they do that, then there's going to be consequences for that down the line. But either way, it should lead to further adventure. Instead of wrapping this up all nice and neat, I want this to have like very decided loose ends. And whatever happens next will be the player's choice. So it's not like I'm railroading or anything. I'm just making them choose their poison. So, all right. We can delete all of this. We'll just Galvanus is a conspirator in a plot to lure the Eldar to Gilead Prime and engage in war. Galvanus is a thrall to Slaanesh. We know all of this. Eldari artifact. Alright. So they did all of this, met with Tremaine Hortons. They learned about the stuff. Ooh. Let's see, I'm just going to do a little unused idea. Gilead Prime Hive has informal black market, but also normal market where those who've been abandoned by the Imperium can make a living and eat. Illegal meat melon production is happening here. Meat melons are a Kroot product. Kroot merchants secretly living. Okay. Cynthia drugs need to really do that. I think I already talked about that. Do I have that? Yeah, I have that twice for some reason. Alright, so we've got Phenodius, who's a Hive Gang leader, out to get them. Let's see, to prevent them from getting... Yeah, I've kind of changed this. Trying to get rich off of fencing stolen goods. Recently acquired, artifact. Let's just, meat melons aren't boobies. So this is kind of a silly thing that I've transported from Heavy Gear. If you've ever played the Heavy Gear, let's see if we can move this a little bit this way because I feel weird like leaning. Come on now. Put it up. I just there we go. That's a little bit better. Okay. Anyways, meat melons are something from Heavy Gear, the DreamPod 9 role-playing game that is now a war game, and that's a whole different thing. You've got the world of Terra Nova, which was colonized by Earthlings 100 years ago, as per the settings date, and then abandoned because they were having their own wars back on Earth. So Terra Nova was left to its own devices along with a number of other colonies because Earth was focusing on itself. And in that time, they developed some marvelous technology and whatnot. And then 100 years later, the Earth colonization forces are like, we're taking back our colonies, we've got our shit together. Come back into the fold, and then Terra Nova's like, no, screw you guys. And so a big fight devolves into a fight. Anyway, Terra Nova lives in this like vast desert world where there's these little slivers of like temperate areas, but because food is so scarce and it's so hard to graze animals, they grow melons with meat in them. So they have like pork melon, they've got beef melon, pretty sure they have chicken melon, and it's just like a watermelon. You cut it open, there's meat inside. So when you think of terrifying food options that exists in sci-fi settings, it's going to exist in the 40k universe. So why not? Why not meat melons? Yeah, it's very weird. And of course it would be illegal because there's so many ways that meat melons can go wrong in the 40k universe. Well, if the forces of chaos get their hands on some of those meat melons, all of a sudden you're growing something terrible. Same for the Drukhari. You can grow little homunculi that way. So it's heretical and therefore illegal, but it is the main food production for the Kroot mercenaries, because of course they like to eat anything that's meaty. That just makes sense for them, but it doesn't make sense for the Imperium at large. So aliens. All right. So we're talking about Phenodius here. A5 Wagyu melons, good marbling. Oh yeah. And then you have to water them with wine. And you give them like a little chop massage as they're growing. And then they just come out real nice. Let's see. Phenodius, let's just say Benodius is a mutant, though mostly normal. Is smart, capable, but cannot exist in imperial societies, so he made a criminal empire. Wishes to establish total control over Underhive. May be spread to other Underhives. That sounds good. Okay, Galvanus. We know about Galvanus. Let's see. We haven't used this idea yet. Commissar Luke Velden, who is on a special mission. But Commissar Luke Velden will probably show up during the firefight. The group might have to run away from him. Or they'll have to disguise themselves. Let's see. So the auction warehouse, auction if the group fails to gather enough info. Warehouse if the group is sneaky and clever. Either way, the group will have to talk to Governor Thassalar. Let's see. Talk to Governor Thassalar. Maybe once auction warehouse situation is done. Auction will be attended by many people, including Braphandelia, a strange inquisitor from outside the system, a group of psychers, Why did I put an asterisk? At a bridge. Excuse me. And a branch of the noble house Hyacinth married into. Lest the Eldari are warned or contacted, they will send a strike team to retrieve the artifact. If that happens, Galvanus will detonate an Eldari explosive device and blame it on them, so the Imperium will go to war. Group should try and stop this. Yeah, that would be terrible. Thank you. Warehouse much the same, but no guests. Group will have to contend with cultists, some mutants, minor demons, Eldari explosive. I wish I remembered why I was going to include those psychers. I'm trying to think of one more faction. Why not rival gang? Yeah, that's solid. Inquisition dude from out of system might show up and do stuff. He's bad news bears. He needs a write-up. Phainonite faction. Let's give him... Did we give him a write-up? Althar Harridan. Phenodius. Garvardi cluster. That's right. Black Inquisitrix Gethsemane or Trubius. Yeah. That's fantastic. Okay. So this was the whole last time on Dead Hope. Um, Black Inquisitrix. All right, so this would probably be, I can't remember what session for next session. So leads to, okay, so this is the whole webway thing. So let's go ahead. We've spent all this time, but we haven't done the recap from last time. Let's see, Dreadnought. We already did that. All right, last time on Dead Hope, Group decided to go on a train to Hive State Sargon. Got attacked on train. More blood pets revealed the presence of Drukari and that someone was after the group. Blood pets, aka necromorphs, were dispatched. Group, this is actually a really short recap. Group arrived at train station. All right. So this was actually a relatively short bit of planning for the game. We already have, let's see, Verdi cluster. So Gethsemane or Truvius. Let me just write this up here. Okay, so we've got Phenodius, Carvardi, Cluster, Black Inquisitrix, Cynthia. Group arrives at Underhive neighborhood, sees the effects of Cynthia, must deal with a local drug dealer to get to Phenodius and either the warehouse or the auction. Drug dealer named Sinestrix. Slick Sinestrix. That's much better. Group can deal with him afterwards. They want, but he will have a let's say big mutant bodyguard. Think what are those giant mutants, super mutants from Fallout? Is that what they're called? I can't remember. Never played Fallout. Ha. Okay. Yeah, there's super mutants, and then the especially big ones are behemoths. Those guys are ridiculously big. I need to go back and play Fallout. Anyway. We need to create one more NPC. And then I swear I'm going to organize this a little bit better. Google says you're right. Yes. So what are some of the groups? Let's see. Noble House. Okay. So let's just say Hyacinth's mother-in-law is there. We'll call her Ivenia Rogardi. Noble woman of Gilead Prime. Intent on... No, she wouldn't be there. Let's do this differently. Acquiring more and more opulent luxuries like Aldari art. Sends an envoy to bid on it. Then we're going to say, so that's Ivenia Rogardi. Citralia? No. Tomina? No. Petrel? Rion. A butler? No. A sworn servant. Let's say indentured servant of Ivenia's. Armed to the teeth and a former mercenary. Sold to Ivenia as an alternative to servitor duty. Has been working with her for 10 years. Once, no. Let's just say has a thing for Hyacinth. Can be swayed. Maybe he dies. Maybe he dies at the auction warehouse. Maybe a thorn in group side if not recruited. Very capable and eager to get his hands on better equipment. All right. So all in all, we've got a lot of banked ideas and information that we can use for tomorrow. So I don't think we need to do as much planning. Five State Sargon, Drukari, Phenodius, Black. Okay, so we know all of that. Okay. Dawn of Thay. Last time, group took care of Red Pillar. Beat all of demon slash Oberiths. See, some almost died. Same. Army of Thay is still very strong. Artifact needed is being stolen. So Zizakal has been stolen. So Zizakal will be summoned because they did not go to the center. Group might think that okay, so they nope. Group learns that the enemy forces have started. Okay. So let's see. 80% chance other group fixed it. No, actually, they didn't send anyone. All right. So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff going on. Basically, the short version is that they're going to have to deal with a giant ice elemental, and they're going to have to Shadow of the Colossus their way up its big, huge body, so that they can then fight Valindra. However, Karuk will have to contend with aftermath of battle. Mercs will have retreated, and High Forest will have the advantage. Group may decide to fight more red wizards as they retreat. So the mercenaries in specific are, let me see. The Mercs, the Zentarum forces. Depending on their next actions, they may have to fight. No, they may either see the Zizikal summoned or see it approach after it has been summoned. Hello, Looney. I gave myself a haircut. Zens are just in it for the money. Is it the same for the PCs? No, the PCs, one of their most prominent members is a druid, and so he is defending his home forest, the High Forest. He's very, or well, his character, whom is a she, um, is very invested in the defense of the High Forest because it is their home. Plus, the druids have been giving them all kinds of help, so now they're kind of calling in their favors. Let's see. Fan Museum. Okay. Klaus the Gnome. We didn't play last week, so all of this is still in effect. So nothing different, but no worries there. I still need to do something with this, but boy, have I been needing to kind of. Looney says, "I saw that haircut looks good on you, but then again, everything. Oh, thank you. Looks good on you," she says. But yeah, this is like my new favorite haircut that I can do with my own clippers. All right. But we're gonna move on to Thursdays. So we're playing this battle, by the way, went fantastically. So as the battle with Zoliad, I ended up not doing the Mantle of Invincibility, because boy, were they getting their asses handed to them. Eli says, "Oh, I thought you were in Thay, but it's just a Thayan expedition." Yeah, it's the Thayans who came out to fuck with the Sword Coast, like they do. I also did not give the Zoliad clone dual Vorpal swords because I thought that would have been too mean. They still got their asses handed to them. They won, but it was a hard fought battle. So they chose Eberron. There's still more to go. Let's see. Group fought Zoliad. Next is epilogue. Highlights. So highlights for the epilogue. This should be. Thank you, Looney. Highlights should include what is her name? Not Maribel. It's I should have the. I might just have to bring up the notes. Google Docs, do your thing. Mildred. I thought of it as I was bringing up the document. So, Mildred is a Tharsis. She returns to her form. Pontifex loses all other forms. Curses undone. Pontifex is weaker, but still potent. Sandpoint is saved. Next will be a brunch festival. Let's see. It's a little better. All right. Okay, Sandpoint is saved. Mount Nimro stops their machine of war, becomes insular. Western Empire decides to try and take Algor Wasteland. Elves may decide to retake their birthright. Humans want a peace too. might distract humans from Eastern territories. What else have we got going? In the Looney says, in the eternally wise words of Gina Montes from La Carabina de Ambrosio, Tenakyu hihihi. Tenankyu? Let's see, what are some other highlights? That's a rhetorical question because I'm the only one that knows this. Sandpoint is great. Mount Nimro is better. I'm going to say that the Palace of Ice from Isla is more prominent. Death Giants, not Death Giants, Rune Giants return and Ronaki becomes one. Door in Glassworks is now glowing. No idea why. Some recommend to brick it up or cover it in glass. All right. Are there any other little odds and ends? I guess. What's the place? Shoot, I'm forgetting all of my details. What is that city's name? There we go. I keep doing this. We're like not remembering. Magnamar passes legislation to ban more dangerous drugs. Sets up task force. Some vigilantism begins. Vigilantism, I guess? Let me think. Looney says, it's an old meme from a really old Mexican comedy TV show. Gina was the show's eye candy. One of the hosts would say thank you in actual English, and Gina, not being fluent in English at all, would say that she thought was you're welcome. Denanku. But in this case, a mashup of thank you and de nada. Hence Denanku. It reminds me of they had some they had some sound bites in Opera Omnia with Renoa from Final Fantasy VIII, and she would say "Oh hello" instead of Ohio or hello, "Oh hello," and a couple of other things like that. Let me think. I'm surely there's more that I need to go. Oh, there's specific people. So Ronaki, fine. Mildred, fine. Gertrude will be caretaker of Giant Tree as penance. Let's just say prime. Gertrude. We'll just call her Gertrude 157. Wants to retire on library. See, on island of Bletherad. May sell potions there. Could be convinced to stay in Santa. Let's see. I suppose if we wanted to Middle Mist returns to Western Empire to free fellow ratlings from slavery. Let's see, Thera may lead expedition to recover Algor wastelands. Liali probably going to retire. Not in, waiting out the days to see her sister again. Looney says it's funny in context, but I had never had to explain said context before in a while. That is a long ass wall of texting. No, it's okay, Looney. But that's hilarious. What is the show again? So I feel like there's like just Carabina de Ambrosio. There's like this very small little bit of remembrance of that, but not very much. Of course, my memory is shot. Liali is there. Gertrude. Let me see. Is there anyone else really? I don't think so. In fact, I'm going to look at the Roll20 just to make sure. Oops. Nope. Where is yes, War Drones. Sorry, I'm just opening up my Roll20 to make sure I'm not forgetting anyone. Looney says it's called La Carabina de Ambrosio from way, way back in the early 80s. It's so old, even fucking Chabelo looked young. Wow. We're not going to forget this time. All right, so looking through, sorry, it's just some dead air right now. Looking through, I want to make sure I remember everyone. Gertrude Leali Brella. Of course, why did I not? I guess there's not much need to think about what Brella is going to do because it's very obvious. But we'll just write it down. Brella will go with Rift. Group, they can decide what to do. Many opportunities before them. But yeah, this is going to be neat. I don't think I've quite done an epilogue to a game like this quite some time, if ever. So this will be really fun. Let them do like at the end of Earthbound and revisit a lot of the places they've been. I guess Kirgi and Praxis make a truce and ask, let's see, promise to create cults against Shantico that celebrate knowledge and beauty. Still kinda evil though. I like that. It's like two, like a selfish god and an evil god or demon lord that are like, let's agree on the fact that we hate Shantico and we're gonna like all of the things he does not, which are beauty and knowledge. So I'd like it's there's a kind of a neatness to that. All right, I think that's good. I think we need to start really figuring out for Eberron. Eberron. No worries, my love. As far as Mexican bureaucracy, I completely understand. Why is that so big? Let's see, 20. Oops. This is. Why is it? Oh. All right. And yeah, do not worry about it, Looney. I'm glad that you're here. I know that you're going through a lot. I hope you got sleep. I know yesterday, yesterday night / this morning was rough. So I'm sorry. And don't worry about anything. Like really, I completely understand how everything has been topsy-turvy. Eberron, we are calling this. I'm just going to go over this very briefly, or relatively briefly. Wait a second. Oh, okay. We're calling it Hoying Shadows. What? No, 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 no. Oh, doggone. I accidentally turned off the music. Sorry, y'all. What in the world?
Go to motionway.com to add this to your video and that.
Looney says, tried to get some dosh back for funerary expenses from IMSS, but his mom was not Holder of I got diddly. Taxation is not theft. The roads you see, who will build the roads? Well, yes. Oh, that's a bummer. I'm sorry to hear that, Looney. Glowing shadows. In the wake of the destruction of the Mournlands, well, let's just say, in the wake of the fixing of the Mournlands, people of all nations have tried to resettle it. However, there is a new undead menace, as some Mournland areas seem to return, and a connection to Mabar creates issues for the new sirens. The IIU sends a group to investigate. That group is the main group. Might be contracted, might be IIU agents, or a mix. Chief Stillwell is in charge of this mission. Several unearthed vampire houses are starting to what's the word I'm looking for? Infiltrate, I guess, the new settlers. Eli says, my favorite Eberron NPC is Garrow, a changeling cleric that makes himself look like a vampire and works for the blood of Vol. Vol is probably going to work, is probably going to be prominent here, so maybe I'll even work Garrow in there. Looney says, I'm one little push from becoming literally unironically Italian Elon Musk. Hey, I no pay the taxes. Distruptiano. Oh, yes. That's fantastic. All right, so vampire houses. Let me see. First mission is investigating a haunted house for information regarding a high-profile murder. This murder is central to the potential abandonment of the settlement called Esamile or Asamile, built on the bones of an old hamlet and a mansion that was eerily intact. Mansion is hella haunted. So the interesting thing, Eli, is that so you're asking about the Lord of Blades. I'm basing this on recent game of Eberron that I ran, and spoilers, the Lord of Blades died. He had died like about a week or so before the start of the game, and his death actually set off a motion of events that was very important to that game. One of which was um, his followers trying to bring him back to life and using a shard of the Silver Flame to do that, but they didn't know that the shard was corrupted, and so they called forth the forces of Mabar, um, the whatever the Night Dragon realm is, and oh shoot, whatever the far plane is. I used to know this. I had all kinds of notes. But basically there was like 3 portals, just like you see in my Wednesday game. That was my inspiration. And one of them was for aberrations, one of them was for undead, like a Nightwalker. The other one was for um shoot, what was I trying to say? For demons, except like that was just more traditionally demons. Zoria, yes, thank you. So yeah, the followers of the Lord of Blades really fuck things up. They did help in kind of the time after that because they realized that they did. But yeah, they tried to bring him back, and their attempt to do so had basically gone terribly wrong. To this day, he has not been brought back, but there's still a possibility that he could be. There's just very prominent groups that don't want to see him return to life. So that could be something. That can be an interesting side mission or side plot. Consider using old themes like Maxwell the Puppet. The bit about the Lord of Blades, and maybe the composite being that was Sarah, Yellow, Dancer, and Goblin Dude. Can't remember his name off the top. But yeah, I'm basically like building this game on, much like the settlement of Esamile, I'm building this campaign on the bones of my previous campaign. All the things that happened, this campaign is going to take place like about maybe 2 or 3 years later. And so all of those things have taken hold. Also mention the exploits of former group, but as memories. Looney says, and yeah, last night was rough. I'll tell you that later. Mind you, I did get some sleep at the IMSS waiting room. Basically slept 3 hours. Oh god, not the comfiest I'll ever be, but any part in the storm. I'm so sorry you had to sleep on a bench. I bet that helped with the bureaucracy, though. I bet you I bet they had you waiting at least that long. We'll have to consider how the Mournlands effect happened and could return. Also, think about connections to Mabar. Consider creating something like a Lich of Darkness. Something like a council of mages that died in Mabar and combined into one super ghost. maybe even the original architects of the Day of Mourning. And unfortunately, let's see, Eli says, you don't have to know what caused the Mournlands to figure out how I could return. No, absolutely. But it is going to be necessary in this game because the previous game had the group remove the Mournlands. Like the Mournlands was removed because they had this giant fight with like some escaped demon lord. And so long story short, they undid a lot of the Mournlands, but now they're creeping back in, and so the group is going to have to, at least on some level, try and understand what happened. And if I'm going to make this wizard council the architects of the Day of Mourning, then they're going to have to defeat them to make sure that it doesn't come back, A, and B, that it doesn't also just fall into Mabar. So that I'm kind of using that as an underpinning of what the campaign is going to kind of entail, which is a little like, it's a little bit like giving away the game, but I'm okay with that. 2 campaigns worth of like a mystery of what the Mournlands means in my game and revealing it sometime in the middle, I think is fine. I know there's a lot of kind of there's a desire to like keep it secret because it's just more interesting that way, but I want to make it central to my game, which is going to be maybe less mysterious but more interesting, I hope. Hopefully that won't like diminish that mystery. Let me think about how I want to continue with that. But I mean, I think we've got a really good start. Like we're already at about a page. Eli says, it'd be cool to describe a persistent low fog just off the surface of the ground. Yeah. I mean, the way I described the Mournlands in my last game, basically it was always raining vinegar. Like it was just vinegar everywhere. All fog with faces and everything was not great. Yeah. And then mutants as far as the eye could see. So I really enjoyed everything to do with the Mournlands. I'm going to just write a note. Big thing. New lightning rail line. Going through New Sire. Or Sire, I don't know how you pronounce it. Eli says, makes sense with everything preserved. Yeah. All right, so haunted train. So the group is going to absolutely just have to go on a haunted train ride. 100%. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Haunted train. And if somebody feels like it, they can even suplex that haunted train. Sire Pickles gets them while they're still fresh. Keith pronounces it Siri. Oh, sorry, different Keith. Siri. Interesting. I'm glad I don't have my iPad. Siri. Then he should have written it Siri. I knew suplex was coming. Yeah. How could I not? All right. I think I've done a good little outline of what I want to do with this game. We're going to plan the hell out of this game as in the coming days. Like, I'm going to put in a lot of detail, or I'm going to try to. Pretty excited about it. Looney says, oh yeah, quote of the day, I'm torn between Chaparritas, Tonicol, and Yoli. Tell you, I'd chop off one of my arms for nice cold Yoli right now. I don't know what those are. I think you might have told me, like, is one of them the soda in a bag? So yeah, I'm still here. We did a game last week. We did Call of the Netherdeep. I almost feel like I don't need to do planning for Call of the Netherdeep because it's in a book and there's not really much to plan. Everything's laid out for me. Where do you stand? The director tells you. What do you say? The lines are written for you in a script. But there are no scripts on the night. And that goes for all of you. No scripts on the night. let's see. Eli says right now I'd go for a Thai iced tea with boba. Ooh, that sounds really good, actually. Oh man. I might just go for another glass of 7 Up here in a minute. All right. So yeah, I need to work on my Friday games, but again, I just need to read Call of the Netherdeep. Next time, more travel, maybe caravan, and prepare for Bazazan, whatever that place is. It's all Critical Role stuff. I wish I could learn more Critical Role stuff without just listening to the podcast or whatever, because man, there's a lot of it, and I'm just trying to catch up on campaign 3. But whatever, we'll get there. All right, and then the Friday game, that's fine. I just need to read more Wild of Witchlight, and I do need to set up the play-by-post type thing. So let's see, Tyranny of Dragons, Aventer Vault. So yeah, last game was kind of crazy. We're not going to play this coming week, but that's okay. All right, last game. Group went into Neverwinter Rift, found cultists, beat cultists, recovered Black Mask and Tishion. And other dude. Then group goes down to bottom of the rift, finds the crystal that may exonerate them, but also Cassandrix the assassin. So yeah, Eli, the Black Dragon Mask of the Tyranny of Dragons. So I went way off script. The group went to Neverwinter and found the Black Dragon Mask after doing a lot of cult shenanigans. They're gonna hold on to that, but they only have the one, and they know that it could weaken the summoning ritual that they're gonna try and use to get Tiamat. Looney says chaparritas are tiny sodas, fruit flavors sold in glass bottles. Tinocol is vanilla soda. Ooh. Yoli are lime sodas exclusive to the state of Guerrero. Best damn lime soda on planet Earth. Used to be everywhere where you went to Acapulco back in the 80s. Wow. But yeah, so the group has the Black Dragon Mask, and they understand that like putting it on would ruin their mission. They know that Tiamat would just take them over, or just send people. So group loses other dude as Cassandrix tries to assassinate them. They overcome, limp to a safe place, are visited by Ailistri, and she offers them help. Castle Lanterns are implicated through a letter that Cassandrix had. Eli says, is that the mask that's the only item that ever turned damage into healing? If you wore it, you'd gain resistance to acid. If you had resistance, immunity. If you had immunity, you'd get healed. Yeah, all of the dragon masks do that, or at least the ones that I've seen so far. So like green would be poison, the red would be fire, and so on and so forth. But yeah, you're right. It's the only thing that turns it into that. And it's the only item that I know of that will improve resistance and immunity. So it is interesting. And it was written by Kobold Press back in the day, back when 5e wasn't even 5e. Contemporaneously with the 5th edition rules, which is interesting. Slow process, but they will be deposed, and the Never Ember family may come back. Lenny says, and technically almost all those would be sold in plastic bags with straws. Back in the day, except chaparritas, not a lot to drink there to put in the bag. But anymore, gee, thanks, Greta. Is that really why? Like, was there a law passed in Mexico to not have plastic bags? Good stuff. I'd wear it. Yeah, Eli. As far as the Dragon Mask, it's bad stuff because it has a direct link to Tiamat. But other than that, it's an amazing, amazing item. All right. Next session, group goes to. Let's see. Shoot, where was I? Group goes to Moonshay House to retrieve blue dragon mask. Will run into strikes twice. The adult blue dragon may have creepy Nothic giant show up. Castle enters will also send assassins, maybe magical type. Eli says, nothing wrong with being obedient to Dragon Goddess. Why are we even preventing her from coming home? If she were here and the ordning were broken, them giants would get theirs. I mean, I think that was the whole plan. It was supposed to be a 1-2 punch, and unfortunately it just became 2 world-ending adventures. Or something like that. Actually, Storm King's Thunder wasn't like the world is on the line. It was just giants being uppity. So that's good. It wasn't like, oh, things will go to hell. But yeah, that's it for the Saturday game. Sunday, new group, Mediterranean stuff. We did the first session. Group must track clan-based monster, basically Godzilla. So I've got this in the bag. Spend time searching for lair, fight cursed creatures, parasites. The Titan's lair shows signs of cult activity, power circle. Okay. Looney says, oh yeah, straws were very limited by law since I think last year. Without straws, there's no point to the plastic bags. Oh. Sure, part of our pop culture dating back decades is now lost, but at least a potato. Yeah, that's so silly though. Like, we've had that straw fight in the United States, and what we basically settled on is that straws are kind of necessary for disabled people because sometimes that's the best way for them to drink. And also, at the end of the day, they don't cause as much trouble as like some other waste. I don't know. There's like somebody might yell at me about that. Like I am in the straw camp. Like we need straws. Um, but whatever. I'm even willing to drink from a paper straw. I'm willing to make that switch. But straws never bug me. There's way other like there's other things that are way worse, I think. But we'll get there, I think. We'll figure things out. I'm honestly shocked that Mexico would even bow to that kind of environmental pressure. Like they almost never do, from the way I see it. If it doesn't benefit some Mexican fat cat, I don't know why they would do it. Unless they were trying to play nice with Sweden? I don't know. It's weird. All right. I still need to read up on Legacy of Fire. All of that being said, we are at the D&D and Q&A section. So if y'all have questions, feel free to ask them. If not, we can work a little bit more on the what is it? The steampunk mage. Steam, electricity, aether, magnet, combustion, and alchemy. Looney says, well, since we're currently governed by commies, oh, that's why. They kowtow to environmentalist whack jobs. Um, yeah, actually. So, although a science will kind of act as an archetype, you will eventually pick up secondary sciences. So your primary science might be steam, and you'll have a bunch of like hydraulic crap that you'll be able to do, or you might even have like a steam-based jetpack, like on Steam Boy. At some point, you'll be able to pick up like a lesser ability of like magnet or aether. And aether is very potent, or alchemy, to supplement. So it'll almost be like, gosh, what's a good example? There were, I want to say in like one of the previous editions of D&D, there was like archetypes where you would get one, but then you could get another one at a lower level. And it would just be like you're gaining accruing those abilities as if you had started at a lower level. Something like that. Power source can be a variety of things. Okay, devices. Apparatus. An apparatus is either a device, an improvement to a current device. Looney says, okay, here's my question. What's the best piece of D&D merch you've ever seen and or owned? There's a couple. Let me think. I have several D&D t-shirts. I don't know if they're in the laundry right now, but I'll look. They're in the laundry. There's a handful of other things. I will show you. Oh. So one of my favorite things ever is this red dragon. Now, it's technically a miniature, but I actually call it a bigature. like just to imagine the scale, here's a standard size player character. In fact, this is even big, like kind of tall for a player character. Like, and that's the dragon. Like I have to pull back to get the whole dragon. Like, I have my arm next to it. This thing is like a foot and a half tall, I think. And I've got big hands, but like, basically, this thing is like the size of what like a fairy dragon or a pseudo dragon would be if it was real. But look at that. That's intense. This guy's even got like a little, you can maybe not see it as well, but like he's got a little dude in his claws. Oh no. Hang on. Maybe have it. That's fine. Yeah, that's the pride and joy of my collection. That guy, I can't quite, yeah, this dragon right here, like it's in the background all the time, but this guy I think runs for like anywhere between $200 and $300, more if it's in the box, which I trashed the box. So um, yeah, that's my pride and joy. They've been releasing other dragons since that I've been curious about getting, but I don't know. I'm happy with the ones that I have. Although I might get a huge white dragon because that guy's really cool, but it's kind of, it feels tricky to want to spend $100 on it. There's an unpainted variant which is more expensive, which is really dumb. Oh no. Okay, I'm looking at this bit of merch that was linked. Oh, Demogorgon, Prince of Demons. That's amazing. I kind of want that jacket. This is the big dragon that I have, says Eli. Oh yeah, the jazz dragon looks like he's holding a like a cello. I've got that guy too. It's kind of hard to see back here, but he's there. If I was to move him and show you, I would disrupt all kinds of stuff that I've got going over there. I also have the blue dragon. So that guy's a little easier to get to. Actually, maybe I can get them both. There we go. Here's my blue dragon. Obviously not as impressive as the, but like, there he is. He's like a hand span. This guy's a handful. And again, just for comparison's sake, there's like a normal player character sized, more or less, creature, still bite sized. And then bigger still is my black dragon. It's like, again, not anywhere near as impressive as the red dragon in terms of size, but still very impressive. And like, there's another comparison. Still bite sized. Looney, you're gonna do my laundry? But yeah, like, obviously not nearly as tall. This guy's maybe like, he might be like somewhere around a foot or so, maybe just shy of. But there's my dragons. Last one I'm going to show off is this Tiamat. Not especially big, but this was from the War Drums series. But if you remember Tiamat from the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon from the 70s or 80s, I can't remember. There's Tiamat in all her glory. Like not nearly as big. This is more of like an aspect of Tiamat. Like this is just like, oh, if Tiamat has like a bad dream, this thing might pop up somewhere. Cause havoc. I've also got a slightly bigger Tiamat still in the box, although I'll probably remove her when I get more space. Eli says, why do dragons live where their competitors are immune to their breath weapon? Red fire, volcano type monsters, white ice, cold resistance. I mean, I think there's maybe two reasons. Dragons are like weirdly evolved creatures. So maybe they do that so that they have to physically fight and get tougher, especially white dragons. So they like white dragons have to hunt down things like yetis and mammoths to be able to eat, and in doing so, they rely on their physicality, and so they get stronger, like physically, so that they don't necessarily rely on the other stuff. But then when something invades its domain and is not of it, then they're just like breath weapon, motherfucker. Remoraz will fuck up a white dragon. Well, and they're like third edition dragons used to be where they were strong or immune to their element, but weak against their opposite element. But I don't believe that's the case anymore. No dragons in 5th edition are weak to any damage. So Remoraz would be difficult to defeat, but it would not be impossible for a dragon to do. With a dragon's full... actually, do Remoraz resist cold? I can't remember. Immune to cold and fire. Okay, so yeah, a dragon could still beat it up. I mean, it depends on... Like, a young dragon will have a very hard time. But, like, an adult might be able to do it. But yeah. Any other questions while we're at it? I'm trying to think of some of the other stuff that I have that's very nice. I've got these metal D20. It's kind of hard to tell, but these guys are very weighty, and they have a face that's like the ampersand. Will it focus? Looney, thank you. I can't wait for that either, but not because I'm like trying to coerce you to do my laundry, but because I know that you'll like taking care of me. Let me think of some other like D&D branded things. If we're talking like official merchandise, there's some stuff that I would like. I'm trying to think maybe some other less obvious like branded merchandise. I've been wanting to get a D&D hat for a while, so I might have to do that soon. Maybe a D&D blanket. But yeah, other than that, there's not really much that I have that's like D&D branded. We'll see. It'll all be good. All right. But yeah, any other questions? We're at an hour 30. I may actually stop the stream. I do need to, let's see. Eli says, I've got a hat, a Hawaiian shirt, and various t-shirts. Yeah, I want that Hawaiian shirt, actually. I used to wear Hawaiian shirts like nobody's business, but I got rid of my the one that I had more recently. Looney says, okay, yes, I have another queue in the chamber Nuclear. All right. Well, drop it on me. If they ever sold a D&D Converse, I'd be all about that. Like a D&D branded shoe. I don't know. Maybe Skechers would be just as good. I'm just using this opportunity to look at the way my hair came out. I feel like I might have to do just a little bit of a touch up on it, but we'll see. I comb it straight back. Now it's just goofy. There. Hooray, using the webcam as a mirror. So I didn't upload the link last time, or sorry, I didn't update the podcast last time, but if you haven't already, listen to my podcast, which is just our live play of the Warhammer 40k game. Really happy with that. I'll probably end up uploading the new episode either tonight or tomorrow. But yeah. Eli says, I don't have any confidence in them boys sneaking around next time. Which boys are you referring to, Eli? Looney, I see your question. Question being, can D&D have a decent movie? So we all know, or most of us know, the 2000s. Oh, the Warhammer boys. Oh goodness, no, they're not a sneaky bunch, except for like maybe one or two of them. Spoon and Simsel, I'm surprised, have not gotten into like their adventures because they're super sneaky and they could get a lot done if they teamed up. All right. D&D have a decent movie, so 2000s movie was a joke and a flop. No more Jimmy Olsen. So I would say Lord of the Rings trilogy, great D&D movie. Like if you want to think about a movie that's like fantasy, does a great job, fantastic, just fantastic. Movies, I guess you would say. There have been a lot of movies that I wouldn't necessarily say this is a D&D movie. But they're D&D movies. There's like some really quality fantasy films that have come out in the years since. But I want to highlight the fact that in 2023 we will get new D&D movie called shoot. I can't remember what it's called, so I'm looking it up. Honor Among Thieves. Cut it out. Chris Pines is going to be in it. I think Joe Manganiello is probably going to be in it, or I know he's involved in some way, shape, or form. There's a bunch of other people that are attached to this movie. Maybe it'll be good. I hope. I hope it's going to be a decent, passable movie. I think it's going to be a good D&D movie. Maybe not a great one, but a good one. There we are. Hugh Grant is in it? Okay. So looks like Chris Pine, Hugh Grant, Sophia Lillis, Michael Rodriguez, Justice Smith, wow, and Reggie Jean Page. That's interesting. Why did this get shifted though? So now I can't see all of the text. Guess I'm just gonna have to do like that. But anyways, I mean, I think it's gonna be an entertaining movie. I don't know that it's gonna like rock my socks. I'm really tempering my expectations on this. If it's better than the 2000s movie, and it almost has to be, if it's not, then oh well. Yeah, shooting is already done. Fingers are crossed. Yeah, this movie is just going to be prepared to be shown to us next year. We'll see. And I know that they want to do sequels. And I know that Hasbro is going to try and leverage this to be like, oh, just like Transformers, just like Battleship, just like G.I. Joe. Then he says, okay, yes, great point there. I guess the Lord of the Ring movies are over the top tier, or top tier D&D stuff. Yeah. You just have to pretend that they're D&D movies. Eli says, apparently it's getting a spin-off live-action TV series. I'm okay with that, too. Weren't they going to do a TV series for Drizzt Do'Urden? I'm there for it, by the way. I almost even don't care if it's cheesy. If they do a Drizzt Do'Urden TV series, I'm totally there for that. Can y'all think of some other movies? Like, I don't know why I'm blanking here, but I know that there's other fantasy movies that have come out recently that are like, man, that's a good D&D movie, even though it's not a D&D movie. All right. Where are we? Where were we? The Drizzits are coming. You've got some really goofy movies like movie Your Highness. No? Yeah, Your Highness. I've never seen that one. I don't know if it's any good. Seems like it's real dumb. But like, you know, a fun kind of dumb. What are some like I don't know what like I swore I had a whole list of these things where it's like really good. Okay. Dungeons and Dragons. No, this isn't. This is terrible. G.I. Joe is not a fantasy movie. How the Grinch Stole Christmas is not a fantasy movie. This is terrible. There's been a lot of really good anime that I would recommend, like Shield Hero and Goblin Slayer. Those are top tier. Berserk, fantastic D&D style setting. Eli says, I'm sad I couldn't get into the Shannara Chronicles. Wait a second. Which ones are the Shannara Chronicles? Oh yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I didn't either. There was Legend of the Seeker, which was really interesting. It was based on the Sword of Truth series. And even though that the author, who I think has died since, the Sword of Truth author is, I don't know, depending on how you look at it, either very sane or very not sane. But like, he's maybe a little bit too far on the right, let's just say. But like, very, yeah, he did die. He died um, September of 2020. I wonder if it was COVID. Um, anyways, yeah, he was very conspiratorial. Cause of death not released. It might have been COVID. Carnival Row is pretty good, very fantasy. And of course, you go far back enough. There's like really goofy 80s movies like Krull and Dragon Slayer and so on. There's some really awesome ones just going way back. God, this is so dumb. Willow, Lady Hawk, yeah, yeah, just, like the 80s was rife with these things. Um, God, this is so dumb. Like Underworld isn't fantasy. Like urban fantasy, maybe. Like, do it that way. Wait, that was an Earthsea movie? Huh. Hmm. Yeah, I'm looking through at least from 2001 to 2009. I guess 2000 to 2009. And just seeing which of these I would like say, hey, this is decent. The Chronicles of Narnia was an okay movie, and then everything that came after it was junk. I didn't realize the Dungeons and Dragons sequel came out in 2005. That's kind of crazy. It was direct to video when that was still a thing. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I guess I might have been overestimating the good fantasy movies in the last 20 years. Maybe they weren't as good. Tales from Earthsea from Goro Miyazaki, Hayao's son. It's good. I liked it. A lot of people don't, including Hayao. Beowulf, by the way, the CG one, terrible. Don't watch it. Golden Compass. I guess I'm redoing that one. Oh, Hogfather. Really, any of the movies adapting Terry Pratchett, top notch, fantastic. Let me see. Let's see. Eli says, speaking of anime, well, I missed a bunch of stuff. Eli says it's supposed to be horror, but it's just action in reference to Underworld. Yeah. And then speaking of anime, I've got Bubble scheduled to watch on Wednesday. What is Bubble? Dragon Ball Evolution. I guess I'll give him that. That's fantasy. Ooh, The Secret of Kells is actually rather good. Hmm, that's fascinating. That's an interesting way to look at it. From 2000 to 2009. I guess the 2010s then. Hmm. There's some other stuff. I'll think about it for next week because I really want to go back into this concept and figure it out because there's fun stuff here. There's good stuff. Bubble, huh? That looks really good. Let's see. How to Train Your Dragon was, I mean, fun enough for a children's movie. Oh God, The Last Airbender. But I will revisit this topic because I really want to come up with a good list of fantasy movies that have come out in the last 20 years. Oh, the Twilight Saga. God. But okay, I'm done with that. So how are we doing? You said the magic words, now it's time to go. Yeah. I think we're getting close. It is almost to 2 hours. We spent a good little time just talking about silly things like what movies are good. Um, as mentioned, I will come up with a better list, and we'll kind of go from there. Um, but yeah, hopefully y'all had fun. Hopefully you learned a thing or two. Hopefully you have been entertained by my planning of my games. It sounds like um y'all have been happy enough with the shenanigans of my various groups. But yeah, some fun stuff there, and then we will talk about all of that stuff next time. We may or may not have our game tomorrow. I'm still waiting to see on a few things. I will be streaming tomorrow for sure with the Tome Show at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I might shoot out a thing on Twitter. Awesome. So come and watch, but know that I might spoil some stuff for you. In fact, Looney, you can watch because there's not going to be anything spoiled actually. But yeah, there we are, and we are good. Um, I think that's it. We're at just about 2 hours. Everyone's been awesome, and I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. But as always, remember that I plan and play games for you.